Top of mind for you, for all of us, search and rescue. Walk us through how well prepared we are, how things are looking.
So we have 1,600 urban search and rescue first responders out all over the state of Florida right now. Teams were deployed last night into St. Lucie County. That's where we had all of the tornadoes that were spun off the backside of the storm. I know there was a lot of fixation on landfall, but the tornadoes off the backside are what really were, that caught a lot of our citizens off guard. Almost 30 tornadoes have been tracked, 128 warnings. So as those resources were waiting for sunrise today, we have got, look, it's hard to hold these men and women back. They're out there doing their jobs, even as the storm is still in the state of Florida.
Jimmy, what's going to be the biggest concern this morning?
So we want to get our citizens to take their time going back to their homes. I know everybody's been traumatized, those that had evacuated. Look, let our first responders get the community stabilized. There's down power lines. There's going to be broken utility lines. There's going to be intermittent cellular service. So if you're somewhere safe and comfortable, take your time. Be there, go into 24 hours, 48 hours. Let the dust settle, because right now bringing a bunch of individuals back into their communities as their communities have not stabilized is just going to create for a longer duration of recovery.
So there's going to be a period of time where people are displaced, and then they're going to come back, and there's going to be a real question about rebuilding some of these areas, just how much damage there has been done. We were speaking earlier with Bill Waddell from AccuWeather, and he was saying that the first storm, Helene, probably cost somewhere between $200 and $250 billion in damages, not just in Florida, and that this one could cost something sort of in the same range. How are you prepared to manage all of this as you rebuild?
Well, the big difference between what happened in North Carolina and happened in Florida, Florida carries insurance. In the case of the state of North Carolina, Asheville alone only had 248 flood policies. But most people would think, why do I need to have flood insurance while I live in North Carolina? So in the case of the state of Florida, we're much better covered. We have much more of an insurance blanket over the state of Florida. So again, there will be challenges, there will be rebuilding, but to me, nobody does recovery better than the state of Florida. And this is what we'll do. We will take one foot in front of the other, and we'll continue to build back our cities and our communities.
Jimmy, of course, there will be some residents worried about their property taxes, worried about their finances. With experience of Hurricane Ian, can you just walk us through, for the people who aren't aware of this, how the rebate system actually works down in Florida?
Well, I think the reality that people have to let sink in is look, it costs more per square foot to build a house today than it did 5 years ago. So the cost of construction is going to change when it comes. So some people will be underinsured. Some people will sell their homes as is. They'll cash out. They'll move into another community. When Hurricane Michael hit my hometown, my neighborhood, everybody had aged out. So what a lot of them did is they cashed out, took their money, and they moved closer to their grandkids or their kids. So again, this will be some of the similar type of response we'll have of this. St. Lucie County, where one of the tornadoes hit, was a retirement community. I'm sure a number of those families will probably look at other alternatives as they receive a large payout from their insurance company, and they may just decide to pick a different place to live closer to family.
Jimmy, do you think that just in general, there's going to be kind of a migration in Florida away from some of these areas that have gotten hit, as you said, as people age out, decide to shift elsewhere?
On the contrary, it's amazing the type of land rush that takes place after a storm. You will have all of those that saying, you know what, again, I've aged out, I'm gonna move out, but there are people lined up down the street and around the corner that will buy back in those coastal communities. They will build up, they'll build to the higher building codes, and they will make the necessary investments to be able to enjoy what's beautiful about living on the Gulf Coast or the Atlantic coast. But you would think that, but it's amazing the type of land rush that happens immediately after a storm.
Jimmy, before the storm hit, you said the path it was going on could be something of 10, maybe $20 billion worth of insured losses. Did the path follow what you were expecting?
I wouldn't be surprised if the number exceeds that. We saw with Hurricane Ian, we saw almost 800,000 insurance claims, over $20 billion in insured losses. We did not have a type of an impact into a densely populated market like a Fort Myers and Naples did last time. It went into Sarasota, still heavily populated, but you know, it's not going to be, in my opinion, as impactful to that initial area. But now this storm crossed through Orlando, so it's still yet to be determined how much damage Orlando suffered for this, because again, Orlando is going to still receive 18 plus 10 to 12 inches of rain, and this is flash flooding. So, those communities in Orlando, hopefully they learned from Hurricane Ian. It's important to have flood insurance no matter where you live in Florida. And sometimes we have to learn the stove is hot in order to respect it in the future.